Hey everybody, welcome to the woods in Maine. I just drove a little bit north today. Found a quiet spot. The beach is a little bit beyond this little area. I've been here before. I did a video here before 2 years ago. So this is PNN from the forest. I can feel the fairies. We need time to connect with nature. We need peace out time. It is what is essential for our well-being. These times, interestingly, are forcing us to be more connected with nature, because nature is calling for us to come to her and be nourished. So the trees here are very nourishing. This is a very high vibe area. Ferry Beach State Park in Saco, Maine. Really beautiful, beautiful place. And I'm recording this and I'll upload it, and then I'll head back and we're gonna do our guided meditation for Healed America. So if you happen to be watching this on Thursday and it's not 7 p.m. yet, be sure to join us, 7 p.m. Eastern. I want to read on there's so many things to read on, but I want to read on just a couple of things for right now. And one of the things is the FCC crackdown on free speech. Overall, I just want to say that I don't ever feel that this regime can really, and I don't mean to be all Pollyanna about it, but it's not going to fly. And that's what I'm going to stick to, just like I know Kamala won, right? That's what I stick to because that's the truth. So canceling Jimmy Kimmel, I love Jimmy Kimmel. I'm a pretty big fan of Jimmy Kimmel, and I just was so respectful of his commitment to just keep truth telling. So when the fascists don't like that you're telling on them, that you're telling the truth, he just basically was reporting the news and putting a funny twist on it, which is what all the late night shows do. So fascism has no sense of humor, none, and that's a pretty miserable way to exist. So they're threatened by that. They're threatened by, if you're having a good time, enjoying yourself, they're threatened by joy, and they're especially threatened by community. If you have a strong community and you have a sense of community and you derive your sense of being somebody from your community, they're not going to like that. So we see that everywhere. I know that corporate needs to stand up to it, but they will not, because they are money-based. And it's hard for us as normal people to conceptualize that money would take precedence over for the goodwill of all and for the best outcome for all. It's hard for us to even imagine for a second being so driven by insatiable greed that no matter how much you have, you fear losing it. I mean, I've heard about many people that are very wealthy that don't even enjoy it because they wake up every morning and they are just crippled by fear of losing it. So you can kind of see that, right? You can kind of see that going on. I'm going to pull a few cards about the FCC. Maybe I'll ask my pendulum about the fate of South Park. But when you really, really think about it, you really look at it, the America that we know, that is the majority of the people in America, are all about let's be Americans and let's have a great time. And the MAGA movement hijacked that. But hijacking doesn't mean that the plane's going to crash. The hijack is temporary. So I'm going to pull 3 cards just asking about the outcome of the extremists on the right having a problem with free speech. I mean, it just doesn't feel like it's going to stick. And that's where I am. That's where I am with it. It doesn't feel like it's going to stick. It feels like it's going to go through all these convolutions and all these different, you know, challenges and problems. And I forgot to bring my bug spray. It's not going to be a long vid. So what I see here is the Ten of Pentacles, the two, yeah, this is a card of holding steady in the midst of the tumult. So the holding steady, just like I was reading yesterday about the Democrats during those oversight hearings, you know, grilling Kash Patel. We know that he's all MAGA, and that's why Dumpy wants to have him there. That's why he wanted to have him there in the first place. So all the pushing back from the Democrats, using all the power that they have in their power, is like holding the line, right? It's not pushing the whole thing over, but it's holding the line so that they, the fascists, don't push the whole thing over. So this is what I get about the FCC. And the King of Swords is, I see this all the time, and I'm starting to think that this is representing, many times, it's been representing the tech bros. The huge conglomerates that are attempting to control the international consciousness, the international network of how we think. And the Ten of Pentacles says no amount of money is enough. No amount of acquisition is enough. So I'm asking about the FCC and what we the people, our job right now is to hold them at bay. Okay, so we have to hold the line. It's our turn to hold the line for freedom of information and freedom of speech and freedom of being able to believe what we want to believe and worship the way we want to worship and talk about what we want to talk about. I know that Dumpy really admires Kim Jong-un, and I've mentioned it before, and maybe you already know this, but in dictatorships like that, murdering dictatorships, they require you, the regime requires you to have a big picture. Think Donald Trump's image draped over all the federal buildings in Washington, D.C. I know it makes you want to puke. But that's a copycat of Kim Jong-un. And in North Korea, if you don't have a picture of Kim on your wall, you can be arrested. And if you're seen to be what they judge as too joyful, when they decide it's not appropriate to smile and laugh and be joyful, you can go to prison, you can get the death sentence. So he's trying it on to see how far he can get, to see if it works. So that's why we have to hold back. It's like, you know, it's kind of like if a thief is trying to get into a home and you hold the door and you put a chair up against underneath the doorknob and you get 25 people to hold the door, right? That's what we're doing right now. That's what we're in. We cannot let them take a step. They cannot put their foot in the door. And that's what we're preventing them from doing right now. So let's just read a little bit. It's the tech bros. This is all them, you know, like the Dr. Evil's trying to take over the world. This is all that. It's all about control. So let's see what's going to happen to this administration, so-called administration. You know, when Kamala said the system is broken, this is what she was talking about. They're breaking the system. But what we know about when things break is we can put them back together. So I'm going to pull 3 cards about how the administration is doing in terms of holding power. And I hope too many mosquitoes don't bite me. It's not too bad. Listen to the trees. I'm going to just pause so you can listen to the trees. It's a beautiful, quiet time of year. I hear it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. This is the Five of Wands. I'm asking about this regime, this MAGA regime. The Seven of Pentacles, it's getting hard for them because of all the pushing back, all the pushing back, all the pushing back. It's getting hard for them. Okay, so think of it this way. If that person that's trying to push the door starts running out of strength to push down the door, because there's only one of them. And there's 25, 30, however many in my little example, you know, to kind of paint a picture. I feel them kind of losing strength. If you watch Kash Patel in those hearings, I mean, that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about. And the American people are getting angrier and angrier. So I'm going to read on the state of MAGA right now. I am concerned about the event on Sunday, the 21st, that they're having for Kirk. I'm concerned about the safety of that event. When I can kind of speak it in code, I'll tell you my whole take on that assassination. I think it's interesting that, you know, the Pam Blondie and all them want to have you arrested if you say anything that they deem incriminating. They deem incriminating because they decide that it's right out of North Korea. This whole attitude, this whole way they're moving forward or trying to. It's interesting that they're using that to say, if you say anything that's bad, it's okay if you're Brian Kilmeade and you say that we should lethally inject homeless people. Yeah, but if you say that Charlie Kirk was a conservative, they want to arrest you. So I'm going to pull 3 cards about how MAGA's doing, the strength of MAGA. Sun's getting lower in the sky. It's about, it's a little after 4 in the afternoon. It's a little different from the ocean. Psychic in the woods. Okay, so 3 cards about the people who are MAGA. In general, the ones that were misled. It's kind of like a cathedral of trees here. It's real pretty. The MAGAs, okay, they feel like they've been stolen from. The MAGAs who followed the crowd, they feel like they've been stolen from. Their emotions are overflowing. And I see them having a new hero. I'm not sure who that is. I don't think that that's Kirk that I'm picking up on, because this feels like a living person. I feel the MAGA's having a new hero. And I'm actually thinking, you know, I did see a video of Bernie Sanders went to West Virginia. And, get the phone shadow out of my face. That's kind of impossible. Bernie Sanders went to West Virginia. I did post that video, and it was really wonderful because it was the first time I had really seen somebody go and really sit down with the people and talk about why they voted for Trump, and all the reasons that they voted for Trump had to do with their economy and their jobs. That's better. And so I think their emotions will be overflowing. And the reason I brought up Bernie was because I feel a person, not Bernie, he's not running for anything. He's in his mid-80s, and he's just trying to make the world a better place and make this country, you know, survive, our democracy survive, and people survive. But I do feel like the MAGAs glom onto a new story that's a true story, that's the actual what's really going on story. I do feel that happening. And I'm not sure who's going to lead the way there, but it does feel like Democrats. So, you know, I just want to mention that I'm not talking about everybody. I'm talking about really in general. We're starting to see people understand and realize they've been had. They've been scammed. Donald Trump has always been a con artist. They got conned. All the people that signed up for Trump University back in the day, they were conned and scammed. And so many others. He's a snake oil salesman. So I do feel lots of emotional overflowing with them. Now let's ask about, hang on a second, I just want to move this way. Trying to get comfortable. I want to ask about the Kirk event. Is there anything being planned that would be not peaceful at the present time? Is there anything right now, I'm going real general, is there anything right now that's being planned, that's any plans that are unpeaceful? Okay, so I don't think that anybody that watches my channel will be going to that event. But if you know people that are going, you might ask them to reconsider. So it's a memorial event for Kirk. Are nefarious forces planning for something to happen? Okay, so it's like not directly. Okay. If, because that was a kind of 50-50 answer, if there are nefarious plans happening right now, the ones that are, because that was 50-50 kind of, will they figure out how to move forward with their nefarious plans? I have a yes. Is it a situation to distract the people? Yes, that's a strong yes. So look for something at that event that's going to happen, and it will take the form of a distraction. Now I'm kind of going back and thinking about how they made it all taboo to talk about Charlie Kirk in anything but a praising way. I think that that's interesting. I hear a bird. I think that that's interesting. Because my sense is that they don't want anyone to talk about it, because the more you talk about something, the deeper you can go into it, and the more things you can the more pieces you can put together. Once again, I'm not going to get into specifics. So I'm going to pull 3 cards about the Charlie Kirk Memorial event and see what comes up. And as soon as that sun goes down behind the trees a little bit more, the mosquitoes are really going to come out. So I'll make it as quick as I can. Although if it's not too bad, I'm going to keep going because it's so pleasant here. Okay. So what I'm asking about is the Kirk event being used, some kind of disruption of that event being used as a distraction. What I keep getting, yeah, this is a 9 of Swords. There's reason to be concerned ahead of time. The Page of Wands, I can say without much psychic doubt that there are not very good people planning something behind the scenes to disrupt the event. The star indicates that the United States has a North Star, and it's going to, whatever goes on there, there's an energy there, and it's on the eclipse. Whatever goes on at that event, it's going to be a turning point. It's just beyond me. I keep on wanting to say turning point, you know, so it's really beyond, I don't know. I'm not just saying that because it was the name of his organization. I'm saying it because it feels like, because he named it that. His soul named it that, turning point, because it was kind of like a premonition in a certain way. about what his life would result in, would create. I'm talking from a soul level. Because we all have soul contracts, right? We all have soul contracts. And this morning off the ledge when I was reading the cards and I got the past lives card, it became very clear to me, and it's really, really clear to me anyway, that we are resolving lots of collective karma and personal soul karma too. And that means we came back in to re-experience some of the trauma and the drama from past lifetimes. And I know this from my work. People ask me all the time, why was my life, why has my life been such a mess? And why did I pick these parents? And why did I pick this family? Because our souls choose that. Because our souls choose to rise above it this time. And I just want to leave you with those very important words. Our souls chose it this time to have to fight back and push back and win the battle against fascism. Because we weren't able to complete something in a past lifetime. So the collective of us that incarnated during this time in history have a collective soul contract to push back and to stop this fascist uprising in the United States of America. And what better place to really knock it out of existence than the United States of America, that's always had a reputation for democracy, standing up for democracy, and not succumbing to authoritarian dictators. So let's ask how that's going. How are we doing on the not succumbing to authoritarian dictators on a scale of 1 to 10 right now? How are we doing? 1, 2, 3, 4. We're halfway there. So that means we need to push a little harder. That's all. It just means we need to push a little harder. Before I go, let's just pull a few cards on Kamala. There's a lot of shifts and changes going on in this country that make it appear to be dangerous. The appearance is that it's dangerous. Real life experience that we've been having in this country. To be out in the public light if the regime considers you a #1 enemy. Not that she's a bad person, not that she's a mean person, she's a good person. And the evil demonic cannot stand good people. Okay, so I'm going to pull 3 cards about that, about Kamala, and then I'll let you go. 4 of Swords, holding back, deciding to wait a while. Prince of Swords, once again, I'm still getting that they're still figuring out how to make the situation secure. It kind of reminds me of when we were in the midst of COVID. And they, in order to move forward with the debates, they had to figure out a safe way to do the debates. And not for anything, but I thought that in 2020 when Dumpy had COVID and Biden didn't really protect himself, it's a miracle he didn't get COVID at that time. But Dumpy had the really bad strain of COVID, and they didn't have a glass partition up or anything. And Dumpy was spitting all over the place. So it's miraculous that Joe Biden didn't get COVID in 2020 after that debate. It reminds me of that where Kamala's, they're waiting to, I feel like they're arranging things. They're trying to figure out how they can do it and keep her safe and keep everybody safe. So, and here's the Queen of Wands. She's the lady, she's the woman with the message, Are we going to see success on that front? Yes, we'll see success on that front. Remember, power to the people. There's nothing that we cannot do. This is the United States of America. There's nothing that we cannot do. Feel the power. Feel the power of the trees. So that's what I have for you today. Tonight we have our guided meditation for Healed America in a few short hours. And I will see you there. Please take a half an hour if you can, if your schedule allows, to join us for that. And as I'm saying that, the sun is shining brightly through the trees, so I think that that's a sign that we're doing good and that the light is winning. All right. Love you lots. See you soon. Namaste. Thumbs up, please. Bye.